welcome to a very special conversation with a very dear friend. I mean, incredible season so far. Absolutely fantastic season so far. Kolkata Knight Riders, first team to make the playoffs. Venky, Mysore, welcome. What an incredible season. What have you done right? I mean, you've done everything right. But tell me, thoughts?
Well, God has been kind, and the support we've received from our fans, well-wishers like you, I think all of that is very, very gratifying and great to be in this position. But as we remind ourselves, a lot of cricket left, so we're not taking anything for granted. But no, I think when you ask me what have we done right, this T20 format is such that I mean, there's hardly been much of a tinkering or change in our team. As you know, in the auction we did a little bit, of course. The big buy that we had and whatnot, we can talk about that. But I think it's just sometimes it's just a little bit of changes to some of the combinations. Gautam coming in definitely has made a big difference in terms of just the energy and the intensity and the will to win that he brings. And Chandu has worked very hard last year to get the team to kind of where he wanted it to be. So, as they say, God willing, hopefully the stars are aligning.
One thing I have to say, and this is not about Gautam or Chandru. Yes, Gautam's contribution, all of us are talking about, and I will ask you about him. He's a very good friend of mine, so I know how intense he is. But the Sunil Narine call, and I remember those Carl Crow days. I remember when you all stood by him. I remember when you all were there during that bowling action thing, when he was mentally down, he was depressed. Kolkata Knight Riders as a franchise, Shahrukh, yourself, everybody else backed Sunil Narine even when he was down in the dumps. And now look at what he's done. Can you tell me about this Sunil Narine call and the Kolkata story with Sunil Narine?
Well, I think the story goes back to 2012 auction, the mini auction when nobody had seen much of him. Actually, there were hardly too many franchises bidding for him. It was just, I think, us and Mumbai who were fighting for him a little bit. We had seen him, through our affinity and our closeness to Trinidad and Tobago, and eventually we have that franchise there. But it's been an incredible story because first and foremost, he's one of those guys who is most unassuming. He has probably been the IPL player of since 2012. He's done everything you've asked him to do, but hardly people speak enough about him, to be honest. But he's happy with that because he's a very low profile guy. And I always jokingly tell him when I meet him in Trinidad during our Trinbago Knight Rider campaign, he's so animated and he's so conversational and vocal. I said, what happens to you when you come back to Trinidad and the water here? But when you come to IPL, it's like monosyllables, one word, one sentence here and there. He's one of the most unassuming champions that you'll ever come across. Terrific cricketing mind, knows his game, knows the game, and absolutely is a very practical type of a guy. But most important is the relationship that built up between Knight Riders and him. And he wears, literally when the logo is there on his chest, he's one of those guys you can honestly say he genuinely means it, and he doesn't want to wear any other colors. He gets all kinds of offers, but he plays for only our franchise. And I think he's also understood that he has become part of the family for us from a very early stage. And when he went through difficult times, we didn't really think that we were going out of the way to do this and do that because, what would you do to a family member? If they're part of your family, we did what we thought was absolutely the right thing. We didn't think twice. I was jokingly telling somebody that I've probably gone more to testing centers than any other CEO with him because of what he has been put through. But to his credit, to come back and first of all, remodel his action. He is primarily a bowling all-rounder, as he puts it in post-match conversations. And so he is passionate about his bowling. He's probably one of the most skilled guys who has come out. But usually when these types of things happen, people find it very difficult to bounce back from that, when they remodel their action and do those types of things. But he has done it. He's come back. And he's gotten better than he probably was, if that's possible. But then the batting side to him has has made him put him in a completely different zone altogether. We knew his talent, and he had opened for us, and he had done different interesting things for us in 2016-17 times. But this is a different level. So God willing, may this continue. and and
How do you explain this batting? I mean, is it Gautam? Is it Chandru? Is it who? And where did this last season was what 18 was his highest, and now look at him for best batter of the tournament. How did this happen?
It's, I think everybody to be, I think if everybody would admit that, I think this has been a very pleasant surprise for everyone, to be honest. I think the call to make him open, I think that push definitely came from Gautam, no doubt about it. Because, I think practically speaking, we realized that with his type of skills, him coming down the order really makes there's no impact there, there's no difference there. And that's what has happened over the last maybe 2-3 years. And he was a reluctant batter, I must say, in terms of going up the order. But I think the call that was taken was, yes, let's see if we can get some momentum up front. And with Phil Salt coming in as well, and just one of those things that just happened. But I don't think anybody expected. I think the expectation was that he'll go in and he'll be given the freedom to go and play his natural game and try and get us off to a good start. And then we have depth in our Indian batting, and then the finisher roles who are there. So we'll take it from their type of mindset. But I think he is, I must say, if I were to put my finger on it, I would say, well, the call was taken, but it is all Sunil Narine's genius. This guy, as I told you, his cricketing acumen is unbelievable. So he has done some things with his batting. I'm not an expert to talk about what it is. We talk about it and say, he's so still at the crease, and, he's sort of so focused. You can see when the camera focuses on his face, he seems like he wants to get that big score. And really, it's not just hitting 20 and 8 balls and then getting out and going. So it's his cricketing genius. He knows his game, and we knew the talent that he had with the bat, just his bat swing, his ability to time, and particularly against spin. It's come together. So seriously, knock on wood.
Fingers crossed for y'all. Fingers crossed for y'all, for sure. I mean, unbelievable. And I was watching some of the innings compared to even earlier. I mean, he's going. He's not simply giving it up at 40 or 50 or 60. He's going for 80s, 90s, 100s. Tremendous stuff.
That's the point.
Tremendous stuff. A word on Gautam and the impact that he's brought, the Gautam Chandrakant Pandit combination. Of course, the impact of Gautam Gambhir, everyone's talking about it.
Yeah. No, I think, you see, even when we brought Chandu on board, the thing that kind of in my conversations with him, what impressed me really was his deep desire to win. It's there. And in whatever you touch and wherever you step in, there is that deep desire and commitment to win. And then from there flows the thought process around preparation. And that is Chandu. And so he did a lot. Last year was his first season. He was also coming to terms with lots of different things when it comes to IPL, the schedule, how fast the games come, diversity among players and whatnot. I think in many ways, Chandu and Gautam are similar, because they're type A personalities and, that desire to win. And I think additionally, what Gautam brings is just his track record in IPL and his knowledge and his acumen. And so I think the think tank got significantly stronger. There's no doubt about it. And I think decision making also, this is a very important aspect of it, because, you can kind of second guess yourself, and then, you have so many players sitting on the bench, and you change this and you change that. And, when things are going well, also you think, can we do this? And when things are not going well, though, you definitely want to change. I think there's been some consistency in and commitment to the decisions that have been made, and therefore there's not a lot of changes. In fact, I think I saw a chart the other day which showed for a change that we are a team that is ranking number 1 in terms of the least number of changes made to the personnel, which just shows that you put the team together, you back it, and basically say, we are committed, go for it. That's kind of how, and so both of them combined really, really well. So which
fantastic. Word on Mitch Starc. I mean, you were on record, I think, to the host broadcaster and some public interviews also, that even when the going was not going good for him, 50 plus runs conceded in quite a few games, y'all kept backing Mitchell Stark. Once again, Kolkata Knight Riders trait that y'all kept faith despite the 24 crores weighing on him, and it can be hard on anyone. It can be hard, that money tag. But backing Mitchell Stark, thoughts?
Well, as you rightly put it, I think it just flows from that thought process of saying that, whoever we have put on the park, whoever's in our squad, we back them to the hilt. And he's a champion player, he's a champion bowler. And we have no doubt in our mind that, I mean, you saw the spell that he bowled against Mumbai. We had not beaten Mumbai at all, so it was well worth it if you ask me. But crunch games, which are coming up, and you need experience and you need people who have been there, who have done that. And that's kind of what he brings to the table. When it comes to money, as Boria, there's a philosophy that this is my 14th season, by the way, and, I've maintained this from day one, and I've said this repeatedly. The moment you leave the auction, we don't talk money at all. And by the way, the player never asked for us to keep
Exactly.
raising the parrot.
Exactly. I've
We
said that
raised
multiple
it,
times.
and we don't talk in our environment. A 20 lakh player, 24.75 crore player is treated the same way. And we don't talk money because that's irrelevant as far as we're concerned. It is more about we needed a player of his caliber and his skills in our setup. So, which is why we went strongly. There were 9 other players that we picked, who luckily we got all of them at base price, which allowed us to use the money for the skill sets that we wanted. So I think that's something that I appreciate from our leadership and our think tank as well, is that, when you back a player and that's it, there's no question about second guessing yourself, and let the chips fall as they may.
Very good. This is my favorite question. I mean, I went back to the Eden Gardens, as you know, after 2 years. And by the way, I also put this on record that, like you'll back your players, you have been continuously in touch with me and have backed me. And I remember that. I want to put that on record. We did interviews even in the last 2 years. You helped me in many other ways. So make no mistake, and I've documented that in the book. So gratitude. Having said that, when I went back to Eden Gardens, trust me, it was hot. I mean, it was unbearable in Kolkata, 42, 43 degrees, and yet 70,000 people day in, day out. Mad. I mean, and I was actually asking my own guys that they want to go for an afternoon game. I said, are you guys crazy? Kolkata fans and Eden Gardens and the Sea of Violet has been outstanding, Venky, Mysore. For me, that has been the standout in the Kolkata season. Yes, Shah Rukh Khan coming multiple times has made a huge difference because he's loved by everybody here. Having said that, a word on fandom.
No, I think we feel very fortunate and very thankful because the relationship that a franchise builds with its fans, and I've had visiting teams make the same comment, purple and gold, and it's a sea of purple and gold. They may come in their own versions of it, whatever it is, bandanas and shirts, and we have flags and we have t-shirts and all those types of things that we go out of the way to do. But those are smaller things. But ultimately, it's just the passion and the love they have for the franchise. And this is something that we set out to build, when we started. Basically, my own outlook towards franchise building was to say, listen, I mean, the fans should embrace the franchise. It's the love for Knight Riders. And if you build it around a player, a couple of players, then you have different challenges in terms of, what happens when that player says, calls time, So it's been a longer road from that perspective. And we do little things just to take care of our fans, to give you a small, this thing, the other day it was raining. And, we have always over the years had this nor'wester rains in Calcutta, as you know. And so we had this thing saying that, listen, everybody is taking shelter. So there should be some room for the fans to take shelter, because when it's raining, they're not going to sit in the open. But when they come back, the seats are all wet. So we have little things like, we have ushers there with towels to wipe the seat. Small thing, it doesn't take a lot, but just let them go and realize that we've done something, a little thing there for them. And extra toilets that you put, particularly ladies and whatnot. I mean, you want them to be feeling comfortable when they come because they're making such an effort to come there, as you said, in the heat and serpentine lines. I mean, the thing that gratifies me the most when I drive up from ITC Shona to Eden on match day is starting from Victoria Memorial, you start seeing the serpentine lines there, everyone in purple and gold, and some of them, for whatever reason, my kids get a kick out of this. They're saying, "Why are they waving at you?" I said, I think they know who I am when they wave at me, and I'm thankful to them. But that's the relationship that's been built, and we made a commitment saying that, I mean, obviously SRK coming makes it so much more special, and he loves coming, but he can't come for all the games. And I said, it can't. The crowd coming or not coming can't depend on whether he comes or doesn't come. So we have insulated that part of it. So we fill up the stadium game after game, and it's been happening over the last few years. And I know they were very disappointed during COVID times that there were no games and all that, but it's been fantastic. And I think from a result standpoint, my sense always has been that the fans really want a team that they know is competing. Everyone wants to win the championship. All the 10 teams are going at it hard, as you know. And when we won the first championship in 2012, someone asked me, how does it feel? I said, having won the first one, you know how difficult it is to win it. And so I said, you can't take anything for granted, but you want to be competitive every time you're out there. That's what I tell the team. Whenever I have a chance to say something, which I don't do too much of, but I say, listen, I mean, this has to be for the fans because they're making that effort and coming. They just need you. They need to see that everybody is giving their 100%. And that's all the think tank is also asking. We think we have assemble the best team, put it out there, put in the effort, and then the fans are happy. That's basically
I have to say this. I mean, compared to last year, I see the fan connect way more. I mean, last year during the CSK game, for example, Kolkata had turned up yellow, and to a degree there was division. But this year, I mean, the way you all played, the way everything fell in place, I have to say this. I mean, everybody has come up to me and said, Dada, ticket deven, ticket deven, ticket deven. And it has been incredible. I mean, the kind of support, love, affection I've seen for Kolkata Knight Riders, mind blowing. And this is clearly tells me that the institution, and I said this to Delhi also, that even the day when Saurabh was there was nothing blue. There's no blue. It was all purple and gold. So that tells me that the institution is bigger than any individual, right? And that's where a franchise really sort of takes root. For me, that was quite heartening to see. Last couple of questions. One, yes, I know you will not want to jinx it, but this is looking the team to beat. You are in the playoffs. You're there. I mean, this is the team to beat and go the distance. Thoughts?
Well, when you start a season, I'm sure every team, the first objective, if you ask them on the flip chart, they'll write is to make the playoffs. You want to be in the top four. And you're always calculating what does it take, what does it take. Gautam is always like, what do you think? What do you think? I said, 8 wins will get you in the top four because that's typically how it is. Sometimes with 7 wins and run rate, you sneak in the 4th place. But if you want to be sure, 8 wins. And once you get there, then you say, what does it take to be in the top 2? Because obviously it's a huge advantage with 2 bites at the cherry. So I think we are there, although the queue is there for qualification, which is great. Even from a top 2 perspective, I think we are there. One more win will seal it. So that's a great place to be because that's one of the objectives that you set out. In the first objective and second objective, you can say, okay, we've checked the box. But that doesn't mean anything until you won it, and all teams are going to come, hard. There's no doubt about it. Conditions are going to be different, and teams who have done it before, teams who have not done it, who's hungrier. So ultimately, it's going to boil down to, I think a lot of it is going to be about, just the same momentum can carry it forward. God willing, fingers crossed, fitness-wise, the team should be all in good shape, and then you have to just play at your best on that given day. Nothing is going to come easy. I have not seen a single game, particularly in the postseason, where it's an easy game and this happened and that happened. None of our games have been easy games. I mean, it's like last minute also something or the other happening here and there. And it's like, I said, why don't you give me a boring game once in a while is what I tell you. It'll be good for the heart. But it's fun. So very happy to be where we are. But, the old line, happy but not satisfied, because satisfaction will always be, and the thrill will be when you can bring the silverware home, and for our fans and for all concerned. So God willing, this is the year. So let's hope for the best.
Yeah, and I have to say this. I mean, I've watched the IPL very closely, having sort of come back to cricket, going to the ground and all of that. Kolkata Knight Riders is the team to beat. But before I go, what is this Abhishek Nair, Rohit Sharma gossip that's going around? You want to comment on that? You don't want to comment on that?
No, I think it's I didn't even know about it. It was some routine, storm in a teacup. I think there's nothing to it. So I think it was a conversation. They are good friends from God knows how long. So somebody has done something there just to create some mischief, I think. But I don't think there was anything. I spoke with both of them. They were talking about something else, and it was kind of some. Some people have too much time on their hands. That's all I can say. So that's
Fair
all.
enough.
That's all.
But let's say this. This is KKR's here, so it seems. Hopefully, the home stretch will be as good as the middle stretch and the start. Because till it's done, it's not done, right? And both of us know that as corporate leaders or as journalists, we all know that. So all the very best to you, to your team, to Gautam, to Chandru, to the captain, to Shreyas. He's acquitted himself very well. We didn't ask a Shreyas specific question, but to be able to do what he's done after what he went through has been pretty commendable. You want to have a word on Shreyas before I let you go?
Yeah, I think I couldn't sort of speak enough about it, to be honest, because I mean I think we should also recognize last year he was out injured. He was not even in the IPL, and the guy went through a tough time, and we were with him on all of those aspects of what he went through, tried to help him with alternative medicine and whatnot, but eventually he did need surgery, went through that. And the rehab part of it for athletes who have been through that will realize, even I went through something small for my shoulder recently, you realize it's so tough and it's so boring, but you have to do it. And then the athlete is sitting there and saying, oh my God, I should be there playing, and I'm not. And but he handled himself brilliantly. And I think this season, I mean, we've spoken about Chandu and Gautam and whatnot, but I tell you, it's a lot to do with Shreyas. The way he has handled the team, tactically, how he has handled it. I'm sure he would probably would have liked to have more runs under his belt, but that's not affected his captaincy in any shape or form. He's come and played some crucial knocks, selfless type of batting, dropping himself lower in the order depending on match situation and all that. He's been brilliant off the field as well. I think he's got the full backing respect of the players, and they love him because of his leadership style, very uncomplicated, transparent, and confident. So, and when it comes to decision making, I'd heard this line from somebody years ago, and that typifies him. He says, right or wrong, I'm never in doubt. So that's what you need. Decision making is you're never going to get all the decisions right, but at least you're confident of whatever decision you're taking. And so sometimes you sit down there and you make some changes, and you're like, oh, he's bringing this guy on at this point, and it works. And you're saying that's why he's captain, and that's his instinct. And what do we know? And so he's been brilliant. So we couldn't be happier about Shreyas.
Yeah, I have to say this, as captain, Shreyas Iyer has stood out for me. I mean, as captain, as leader, make no mistake, and I want to put that on record, that Shreyas Iyer as a captain of Kolkata Knight Riders in this season, top notch. Venky, Mysore, that was a top interview. Loved your candidness. You spoke on everything, going into every detail, and hopefully we will do another one with that trophy when you fingers crossed win that for Kolkata and get it back to our city.
Thank you
very
much. Very much. Appreciate it.